Go.
Welcome to the Golf Podcast Live, brought to you by Mindshare Workspace and the ECS Agency. I'm your host, Rafael Kalamat, here in Toronto, alongside Michael Bleackley, who's in Vancouver. Today, we have a professional PGA Tour Champions player. His name is Mr. Rob Labritz. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Nice to be with you guys, Rafael, Mike. Nice to be back with you again.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming back for our 50th episode. It's only fitting that you are here, Mr. 50, living the dream on the Champions Tour.
And very congrats on the 50 episodes. That's pretty solid as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, you've been here a couple times. Do you want to fill us in on the year? You've got a lot to talk about.
Also, I guess starting off with the PGA Tour Champions event at the Sanford International in Sioux Falls, where you're still at. Steve Stricker wins on the first playoff hole with, of course, Robert Carlson. It was fairly exciting. You had a great week. A T21, a couple of rounds in the 60s with a 7 under, 67, 68, 68 to shoot 203. You're 37th on the Charles Schwab money list, which is also the points list. And but you're tying the likes of Longer, Pernice, Mediate. You're in there week in, week out. Tell us about this week over at the Sanford.
Really cool golf course. First of all, thanks for having me on, guys. Pleasure talking golf with you guys all the time. But really cool golf course over here. It's the first time I've ever visited South Dakota, Sioux Falls area. Very cool, nice golf course. Minnehaha. Had some weather during the week. We had some wind, and then we had some rain, and then some nice days too. So it's just a great thing for the area. It was a great event. Solid. Congratulations to Steve Stricker. I mean, he continues to make putts and continues to just play solid and win tournaments out here, which is just unbelievable. Great champion.
It must give him a tremendous amount of confidence going into the President's Cup as captain, coming off a win, bringing that, aura to his team. But we know that you've got something, tucked away. You've got a win coming up really soon. You've been knocking at that door because you're a birdie machine. I'm looking at the stats and I'm seeing how many birdies you're making. You're just offsetting them with a couple of bogeys. That's all there is to it, because you're a couple of strokes away from having a top 10 every single week. Mike?
Well, not only the birdie machine, but like driving distance, 292.7 accuracy. You're up there. Your greens in regulation, 70.43. Yeah. I feel you're going to pull it off soon, as your swing looks technically sound. I was saying to Raf before we got on that your position at the top is something that pros and amateurs are striving to get to. It just looks so technical, and we all know golf. It's eliminating bogeys, but where do you feel you are in terms of just tidying up that little bit? It seems like, and you're going to have that W. Like, do you feel you're getting closer? And fill us in a bit.
Yeah, definitely. So I definitely feel like I'm getting closer, and I know the mistakes I'm making out there. The mistakes I'm making, are a little bit of I'll say rookie mistakes, and I have to say, because I'm a rookie, I think I'm allowed this year, although it does affect your standing on the list. Mostly management mistakes. And then in not knowing, maybe being a little too aggressive, trying to make a few putts happen, being a little too aggressive to some flags. Learning. I'm learning every week. It's been a really cool process.
Who's on the bag lately? Are you with a consistent caddy, or you've been experimenting a bit still?
No, so I've got a guy. His name's Mark Schoenwald. He's been on the bag since the senior PGA championship. We started out that week together, which was a tough week for us with the rain and stuff. But we've been doing well together. We had a good place, a good finish in the Senior Open, the U.S. Senior Open. We've he's been out here for 30 years, so I'm learning a lot from him. And he knows the ropes around here, so it's really cool. He's a good guy, so we're having fun.
Rob, I can't believe it's been 20 events. we're 20 events in, and there's only a few events left. There's 5 events or so left, but only 2 missed cuts. I think you're having a stellar season, right? Like I said, you're 37th on the money list. Tell us about how the money list kind of works out with the point system, because it works out in the old system where, money is still very relevant because it equals points. You're at 440,000 and change, not too shabby. Tell us about how that works and your tournaments that are coming up.
Yeah, so you just want to be in that top 36. Top 36 is where you're going to get all the starts. You're going to get all the majors. You're going to get all the events. And top 45 you'll play in. From my understanding, again, this is not. I'm learning as I'm going. From what I understand, the top 45 you're going to play in all the events minus the majors. And depending on how you play, so I mean, you come in and you start winning, or you get that up on the list. All of a sudden you start climbing. So. It's they've got it broken down for years. I don't understand it. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to try to stay in that top 36 and, have a good solid couple finishes coming up. And I'm looking forward. I'm playing some good golf in a good place. So, Mark and I are having fun out here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to Pebble this week. So I get to play with some juniors. It's going to be really cool.
Oh, amazing. What do you and Mark work on in terms of strategizing for the next events? And I mean, obviously, if you're at 37, so that's a very important place, right? And so what do you guys work on for strategy? And does some of your experience from Q School help drive some of your decisions at this moment?
Yeah, it's a great question. What we do is we learn the greens. We just go out there, and when we play practice rounds, we're chucking balls all around the greens, bunkers, hitting putts, chips, pitches. Mostly, to be honest with you, that's probably 95% of my time. And then, and he's been around these events and these courses so many times. It's very helpful because he knows where to miss it, where not to. And so that's what we do. We don't pay attention to the money list. I think things will just kind of take care of themselves. I'm not going to put myself in that. I'm not, I've stressed myself out over the years. I've learned not to do it, and I'm not going to do it now. I'm in a place where, I'm just going to play some good golf and enjoy every second, which I do out there, man. It's like I say, it's a dream come true.
And, we've been talking to a lot of guys on the Champions Tour, and also, with John Cook, and they're always saying, Rob looks like he's always having a great time, right? And I mean, you're living the dream. Obviously, everyone knows that you still are a club pro and you're playing the circuit, and it's wonderful to see you enjoy it with your family from time to time. But we could see that you're also trending score wise. I mean, starting with the Senior Open, where you were 7 over, one of only 2 cuts that you've made, but then you went +6, +4, -2, -3. At Ascension, you're at even, and then you're now at 7 under. So there's you're really trending scoring wise, a lot more birdies happening. With all these courses that you've played, any favorites? Anything that really suits your eye, and you kind of played and said, you know what, I love this golf course?
Yeah, every golf course that I played well on. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but yeah, you get good feelings about the places around it. I mean, every course we've played, don't get me wrong, is a great spot. But yeah, I definitely tend to fancy the ones that I've played solid on. All those scores, and if you look at it, are, I do hit a lot of greens, and that was one of the things I was kind of putting a lot of pressure on my putting, because I do hit a lot of greens. And I was almost, say you reflect and you look back. It's one of those things where, I wanted to just come out here and just keep making putts, and all of a sudden the putter kind of went cold. I was hitting a lot of good shots, and they weren't finding the bottom. They were finding the edge, but they weren't finding the bottom. So, working things on like my speed, my confidence, and my self-talk, and trying to stay, positive all the time. I'm telling myself I'm the world's greatest putter. In the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've just been telling myself that constantly. I'm the world's greatest putter. I'm the world's greatest putter. You can keep telling yourself that, and all of a sudden you'll see the ball start to fall, and it's amazing what your brain can do.
Wow. Do you, Do you ever find you get pressure to hit it closer? I know Mike Weir had problems where he just couldn't get the ball in the hole, even though he was on the green. But so do you ever get in your mind about just trying to get that ball a little bit closer, or do you just let it happen?
Yeah, no, I just let it happen because I do hit it close.
Yeah.
if I make putts and I hit it the same way, I play better. It's kind of funny how that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't really put pressure on my ball striking. My ball striking's always been very good.
Yeah.
But good question. The short game is what I really need to clean up. I mean, I've got out here and I watched these guys who are the best in the world, and wow, I had a lot to learn. So,
And Mike mentioned a couple of stats, Rob. The driving distance is one of them. Obviously, you're one of the longer guys out there on tour with your average is 292.7. So you're in 13th. Your putting average is 62nd, 1.817. Driving accuracy percentage, pretty great, 62.72. And like you had mentioned as well, the greens and regulation stat at 70.43. I'm noticing
21st.
Yeah, it's 21st. But usually the greens and regulations percentage, be it the PGA Tour or any other tour, right when you start hitting around the 75% mark, you're starting to see all the top 15 players. That's where they're really hitting. So it's a couple of percentage points away. I know you're hitting those greens. You're doing really well. But it just seems like you got to hit a few more. But, it's so much easier said than done. Mike and I talked before the cast and we're like, okay, we're going to break down his stats and tell him what's trending, what's not. And we're like, this is so hard for us to do because we're both players. Mike's a top amateur player. I'm a golf instructor. So, it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. What's the biggest learning curve you find playing out there on tour?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. You guys are looking at the stats, and the stats speak for themselves. I mean, I'm out here now that I've gathered all those stats. I look at those stats and I say, wow, I'm deficient here. And I didn't realize that I was deficient there, when I didn't have those stats before. And all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a minute, why my scrambling is not as good as it needs to be. So I better improve. And why am I not doing that? And then you might have to seek out your coach as a coach, right?
Yeah.
So I've kind of seeked out my coaches and we've talked about some things, and I got to play with Jose Marie Olazabal and watch him, use his wedge around 36 holes at the senior PGA, which was really cool. What was the other question you asked, Ralph? I might have whiffed on it.
I don't know. Mike, do you remember what I was talking about? I was just listening to what you were saying.
Yeah, no, but I'm still enamored by the 292.7 driving distance. I'd love to have that over here at sea level in Vancouver, but 366 yards, your longest ball up in Alberta in Canada. So it's pretty huge, right? So I think, and again, as you just said, Rob, you're scrambling 52.33. So, and these are like those micro details to the golfers, right? I mean, if 5% improvement here and there, and all of a sudden that's the difference in, 4 shots over a tournament and you're there in the top 3, right? It's really a fine line we're playing here. You're playing. We're watching.
All right. Well, no, but you're actually helping because you're able to break it down as well. So, I mean, you look at the stats and you see where it's deficiency. It's not, this isn't rocket science. Right. Yeah. And then you just look at the numbers like, okay, I got to improve here. And it's the truth. And the driving distance doesn't do it justice, because there's times where they're checking holes that I'm hitting 3-wood or hybrid even.
Right.
So it's not a fair reposition. I've hit some balls that are longer.
And that's represented by those eagles. Because you're getting closer to the hole than a lot of the guys. So, a lot of those guys are only hitting at 265, 275, right in that area. And you're getting that much closer to the hole. So 1 or 2 irons difference means you could dial it in and get it within 10 feet a lot more often than the other guys. So that distance really helps, as long as it's on the fairway. As we know, distance doesn't mean much when you're in the cabbage.
When you're in the trees. Exactly. There's not a ton of rough out here. Some weeks, are thicker than others. We had some rough this week. Senior Open was rough, and when they can grow it kind of up in the areas, the northern Wisconsin area, we had some rough, and So it's cool to play each, all these separate conditions too, getting to learn different grasses. I played on Zoysia for the first time in my career. I never played on Zoysia before.
Oh, wow.
So I played on Zoysia. It was kind of cool.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I think you have a mental advantage because it's fresh and it's fun, and so like some of the other guys might be grinding more and they've been doing it for a long time and the travel could be bothersome to them. But I think the fact that you are out there with a smile and enjoying it a lot, it bodes well for you to crack the egg here and get through. So because I mean, like, any of us would kill for a lot of these stats here, and really, like, fine tuning this all, and like, look out. Okay, it's going to happen.
Yes, it is going to happen. I agree with you. I appreciate that as well. That's my feelings, and just got to be patient and keep having fun. And the more I have fun, I can't say the easier it gets, but the more I have fun, it's still the dream. It's like, well, this is so great. I get to play golf for a living. I mean, think about it. You get paid for it. It's crazy. I don't even understand it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Excellent. I don't get it. But...
Is there anything, like, aside from each week traveling, is there any cities that like have restaurants or certain like entertainment attractions that you're looking forward to going back to next year?
Frank's Steakhouse, I think in Duluth, Georgia, was really good. Wow. That was, probably one of the best steaks I think I've ever had. And I traveled up there through Iowa and Wisconsin. There were some great steaks up there too. But Frank's just sticks out in my brain. Some of the other places we've traveled to, I'm usually at the course, Mike, all day. And if I'm not there, I'm in the gym. And if I'm not there, I'm sleeping. So I don't really have time for other things. And if you guys have an idea of what I could do in some of my spare time, happy to listen, because I need things to do, which is weird because I come from always doing things every second of the day. Right. And all of a sudden I have this free time. If you're not practicing working out or meditating, right, what do you do? It's like, what do I do? Do I go for a walk? I don't know. So any ideas are welcome.
Have things changed for you, Rob, as far as making new relationships with players on the course or off the course, people working and traveling with the tour? Maybe there's some go-to players that you might have a supper with, because a lot of these guys look like they like to have a drink and eat. They're not as fit as you, Rob.
Well, it's all good, man. We all have our things. But I mean, we do have dinners together. We'll meet out for, we have the pairings parties that we go to. So we're always doing something, but it's not so much the nighttime entertainment. It's kind of like, say you have an early tee time or you have a late tee time at 1:00 and it's a tournament tee time. I wake up at 6. Okay. So now I got 7 hours I'll do my workout, eat breakfast. Okay. Then what do I do for the rest of the hours before I go to the golf course? Right. It's just finding those the nuances. Sometimes you talk to your family. Sometimes you answer emails. I still get a lot of emails and stuff, but, I'm looking for something to do.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because anyone who plays tournament golf deals with that. So if you have a late tee time, that means you played well, which is great. But then how do we fill that time and not get our mind distracted or do too much, right? You don't want to go and hit 300 balls and chip and putt for 2 hours and be tired. So there's an art to filling in that time, I would assume, and going back to bed for 2 hours is probably not it either. So it's like,
no, because then your body falls asleep again, right? You're not, you don't get your muscles engaged, and you got to warm yourself up again. Yeah. It's again, these little things that nobody really thinks about when you're out here. These are kind of the things that dictate how you're going to play. And if you can get your brain turned off and all that good stuff, so.
Then as an amateur, these types of things come up, and then you have a 1:00 tee time and 12:45 some work stuff calls, and you're like, oh my god, now you're distracted, and like so, you're so fortunate to not have to deal with all of that. And how's things back?
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worry, don't be sorry. No, live it. So, and how's everything back at GlenArbor? Do they miss you?
Oh my gosh, I miss them, to be honest with you. I miss my family. I miss them. It's been a routine of mine for the last 22 years. I miss them a lot. The club is absolutely I mean, I always knew I never needed to be there.
Yeah.
No, it's running great. The members and the owners and the team that we have there, everybody's just supportive. I get emails every day, all the guys. It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, it's cool. Joe Gickus has got the golf course in a phenomenal shape. It's not a blade of grass out of place. When I go back, it's perfect. So yeah, very blessed. Membership is doing well.
That's cool. It's correct that you have that tiny little target green out in one of the water hazards. Is that from what I've seen online, right? That's the 19th hole. 19th hole. Yeah, that's really cool. How far does that play? And have you ever hit the green?
Oh God, yeah, it's 80 yards. It's down. We built a little platform right off the side of the clubhouse that you hit off of. It's awesome. 80 yards down, but it's down about a 70-foot drop, 80-foot drop into the water.
Okay.
It's a really cool. And then we've opened up a few more shots to the 14th green, which is about 220 yards, and then the 17th green over to the left side. If we do, I think it's about 200 and maybe 15 yards to get to that one. So there's different
That's cool
things that we can hit at from up top. It's cool.
How many beers do you think get consumed around that short target hole in 1 year?
I a lot. Yeah, and martinis. I mean, the waiters are just constantly going, but
Oh, that
what
sounds
else
fun.
can we get you? That's great. When you guys are down, come on down. You got to hit a shot.
Yeah, we'd love
Sounds
to.
good.
Yeah,
we'd love to. Rob, think about all the great players that you're playing with, all the guys that Mike and I grew up watching and listening to, and not only on the Golf Channel, but on all networks. And, when you see Steve Stricker and Ernie Els and Miguel Angel Jimenez, he's such a character, or any of the top players, Darren Clark, I could just keep on going. When you see them all out on the range and practicing and you're talking and conversing, you ever pinch yourself where you kind of say, hey, I'm part of this. I'm actually playing today with all these guys.
I did in the beginning. I did in the beginning in the first few weeks, of course, because it's like, wow, it was all so new. And now it's just, they're guys just out there trying to make a living like I am, they're great golfers. They've been golfing forever. The personalities, it's cool. It's cool to see like Darren Clark and all these guys, and they're all gentlemen. They're all Miguel. He is a character. He's awesome. Yeah. I mean, the Ernie Els, he's the sweetest guy on the planet. I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool that, behind all their, their brands and everything like that, they're just golfers and they're great guys,
Yeah. Well, it's amazing to hear because it seems like you have like a sense of belonging, like you belong out there now. It's no longer looking around getting comfortable. You're kind of there now, working, grinding away with these guys. And maybe some memorable pairings that you had this year going out there. Maybe you could mention that to our viewers or listeners.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the last 2 days I played with David Toms. I mean, I played with Ernie Els. I played with Jerry Kelly. I play with all the guys out there. It's phenomenal to watch each one of these guys in their own way, get the ball in the hole. As an instructor, on the instructor side of me, take away the player side of me, I look at all their golf swings and and they're all different. Every one of them's different, and they all have different flights and different characteristics, and they're all really good around the greens, right? And you look at the golf swings that are coming up now with the young kids, and they're hitting it so much farther, and they're all the same. Almost they're all. You see a lot of the similar looks, right? We're learning how to make it better and more powerful, and so it's really cool to see. I mean, I watched Jose Maria Olazabal hit wedge shots from around when we were playing in Michigan in the senior PGA. It never looked like, no matter what wedge shot he was hitting, like he ever opened the face. Everything was square. Right. If he wanted to hit it as high, straight up in the sky, it was masterful to watch.
Wow. Yeah, he learned a lot of that stuff from Seve, I guess, right?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It seems to come in their blood from Spain, because they're all magicians around the green and have fantastic touch. Whether Sergio, Seve, it's amazing, and the mechanic is one of golf's greatest characters right now. We're sort of transcends back to the old school with Chichi Rodriguez and these characters, the Lee Trevinos, and who, like you said, they were all different in golf.
And the swings were different. You don't see that. Everybody wants to swing like Adam Scott or Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy, very elliptical over the right shoulder, over the left shoulder. It was very different. We had a author on the other week. Rob is, and we were talking about Mo Norman.
Stelmach.
Yeah, we were talking about Mo Norman, how he's, if not the greatest ball striker ever, and he's swinging over his right shoulder, then down the line and looked like a Ferris wheel as he finished. He followed through, but he was able to hit it within 20 feet to the pin on a 3-wooder driver, right? Shot after shot, and it was and he was.
When are they going to make his movie? They got to make his movie.
They have to.
His movie. Right, I've heard so many things that a movie about Mo Norman's coming out would be incredible.
Who would you cast to play Mo Norman?
I knew that was. I knew you were
right.
asking
You
that.
walked into that because we've talked about that a little bit, and still I'm not sure.
It would have to be an actor who could play, multiple dimensions, sort of when he was a little younger, I guess, at his prime, and then when he got older.
I don't know, Bryson.
Yeah,
Bryson. Wow.
or Steve Stricker. The way the way the moves are. There's not a lot of Bryson. I don't know, man. That's a good question. Mo Norman. I think you'd have to find an actor. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, we'd have to find an actor. We'd probably train the actor.
Yeah, someone who could get into that character acting, like Jim Carrey, and he's not the right person, but that type
like a
of
physical actor,
actor who could get into the mannerisms of Mo, and but yet be able to swing similar enough that they could replicate the golfer and seem authentic in a movie. But it's an Oscar award winner if they can pull this off and they get the right crew. I think it would be great. So. Maybe we have to take this on.
Yeah. Many stories. Think about all the stories of Mo Norman that you heard, like from the breaking the tee to, hitting 9-iron driver on the free. Yeah. Easy stuff.
At the Masters with Sam Snead, adjusting his grip and then him pounding, 500 to 700 balls that night to find that little tip that he got, but then he couldn't hold the club the next day and had to withdraw from the tournament. So many different stories, but so many players on the Champions Tour. And I guess you may have played with a lot of them, but you may have not played with a few players that you'd like to play with. Maybe, I don't know if you've played with Lee Jansen or KJ Choi. Maybe I
played with KJ in 2010. I haven't played with Jansen or Love yet.
Yeah.
Lee plays a lot. We just haven't gotten paired together. Davis Love hasn't played a ton this year. I think he's got some other things. He's played a few.
Yeah, he's got a little tournament coming up this week. So
yeah, exactly right. I think he was preparing for that one. Let me see who else.
Have you played with Daly? Oh, Bernard
with John Daly. Yep.
Yeah.
Played 18 holes with JD. That was cool.
Did you drink as many beers as he did during that round? Or?
I didn't see him drink any beers. We were just playing golf, making birdies.
Yeah.
But
is there anyone you're looking forward to getting paired up with that you haven't yet?
Everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you played with Duval or Montgomery?
No. David and I played when we were kids. Junior golf, but we were supposed to play a practice round together at the PGA, and something happened with it was a cluster, but no, we haven't played together yet. Looking forward to it. We threatened to do a practice round together, and it just never happened. So we don't have a lot of practice rounds out here. There's a lot of pro-ams, so not a lot of practice rounds are happening unless you get it on a Tuesday. Yeah.
Do you wish you had more practice rounds, or do you try to get a little bit of practice during a pro-am?
No, the pro-ams are more for the patrons. I try to really just kind of entertain the guys who are there and gals who are playing. I'll see the golf course and able to hit shots and stuff, but we do our work kind of Mondays, Tuesdays, and then a little bit, maybe after a pro-am or something, and try to get it done as much as we can. Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple of tournaments coming up. Do you plan to play all the tournaments, Rob? I mean, there's a couple of left. Yeah, you're going to play all of them. So you got
every one of them. Have to.
So you got the Constellation.
I'm Bubble Boy right now.
Yeah, you are Bubble Boy.
For sure.
The Bubble Boy. That's a great episode on the Seinfeld with the Bubble Boy. I don't know if you.
Sure, yeah. I remember that one, of course. That's me.
So there's the SAS Championship. Then you got the Dominion Energy Charity Classic. That's in Richmond. And then you got to go down to Boca Raton for the Timber Tech. And that just takes you right down to the Charles Schwab Cup final, which is in Arizona, I believe, over at the Phoenix Country Club. And that will be, I guess, top 30?
Top 36.
For that
top 36.
Top 36 for that final? Okay, great.
We want to play in the last event of the year. That's the objective.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic that Phil Mickelson was the winner of that Phoenix Open last year. And obviously he won't be playing the Phoenix this year. But that brings us around to, I guess, maybe just a general question. Any thoughts on LIV and the PGA Tour and the way things are transpiring right now? A lot of disruption in golf, a lot of money being made. Things have changed around quite a bit for the PGA Tour. Players, it seems like the players are the only ones winning on the PGA Tour because the purses have just skyrocketed, and going back to a calendar year that's a little bit more comfortable. Any thoughts on what's happening?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I tried.
No.
I tried last time. I thought I might get something out this time. But
this is wisdom. You're right here, Rob. You're just not.
It's the politically right answer.
Right.
I can't answer for anybody. I know where I am. I can't answer for anybody. Everybody makes their own decisions in life, and you go on.
Yeah,
I'm in my happy place. So
stay in that bubble, right? Just get ahead of the current bubble and get into the top 36 and stay there and put it together and get all your get your full card for next year and the majors and carry on. So golf, this drama will go away, right? It's probably be tumultuous for a little while, I think, and golf will win in the end. The sport overall is way above this current drama, I think, and it's a shame, but that's it's sort of worked out the way it has. But nothing that we can do about it other than observe and we'll just keep cheering you on and watch this. Wait for the champion circle, as it will happen, as we've said. So
yes, it will. Thank you. I appreciate that.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to Rob Labritz, Champions Tour golfer. You could look at all the stuff that he's doing at roblabritz.com. You could follow him on social media, on Twitter, and I believe Instagram as well. Any shout outs that you'd like to give to some of the sponsors or people that you've been working with? I know you've got a new relationship with V1 Sports, so that's fairly exciting. Would you like to share something about that?
Oh yeah, V1. I mean, I've been a partner with V1 since, I've been using them since 2000, I think. So we've had a long relationship. And when I got on the Champions Tour, they wanted to see how they could help me. It was just one of those great companies like that. V1's always had a special place. I've used them every day, almost every day of my life for the last 20 some odd years, right? So great group of people, innovators, ahead of the curve. I mean, it's really cool to see sports videoing. You can really break it down and figure out how to improve. And they're using pressure mats and they have all sorts of cool stuff. So it's a great company. All my other sponsors, great, Titleist, Centerview, iCapital, Stony River Steakhouse, J. Alexander's Crystals, Orion Infrastructure Capital, GlenArbor Golf Club, Titleist, FootJoy, Galvin Green. They're just amazing. Everybody's been so amazing, so helpful this year. They've made my life so easy. So thank you to everybody.
That's great.
It's been amazing. Yeah,
that's great. Some good sponsors there.
Like Michael said, we're living vicariously through you. We're cheering.
Wait, Tooch. I'm sorry. I forgot one of my main guys. I got to stop you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries.
Tooch.com. Tooch.com. Ed Tuccio. This guy is the bomb diggity. Look up Tooch.com. It's a cool little golf tournament. It's at his house. It's on the web.
Great.
You know, go check it out. He is so cool. So shoot out to you, Tooch.
For sure. Spell that for us. Is it TUCC or TOO?
TOOCH.com.
Okay, there you go.
Yep, check it out.
We'll check it out.
So that's exciting. That's great. You know, you got to do the shout outs because, you know, if it wasn't for our sponsors, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. We're passionate about what we're doing right now for golf. We'd love to be out on the golf course. You know, I'm turning 49 in April, so it's right around the corner. And you know what was exciting is to see and hear you on with Michael Breed. What was that experience like?
Oh, Michael's been a friend for a long time. He's an innovator. I love talking to him about golf. He's always ahead of you. So he can bring out the best in you because he's so tuned into everything. He's awesome. He, you know, when I talk to him, he just gets right to the core of it, you know, just like you guys do. We talk about just fun stuff, what it's really like, and move on. I wish him the best. He's awesome.
Yeah,
shout out
always
to
liked him on
buddy?
the Golf Channel. He's energetic and informative and creative with drills. I've learned a lot just by watching, you know, a small amount from him. So no, that's really cool.
That's cool to hear. Super knowledgeable, really smart. He thinks ahead. He's just you know, he does a lot of leadership stuff. He's a great dude. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the Golf Channel analysts have gone that direction in terms of public speaking or you know, leadership encouragement and whatnot. So no, that's great. Rob, is there one thing that stands out this year, like the shining moment that you could share with us that really, whether it's something funny or just like an awesome moment to this point that you can share with our viewers? And we'll let you get back to your laundry.
One moment. One moment. So funny. I know, right? One moment. Oh man, is there one that shines? You know, maybe by playing the Senior Open, if you want to talk about playing, you know, sort of that thing. But if it's just on the other side of it, probably just getting to know all the idols that I've looked at for the past, you know, 50 some odd years, getting to know those guys. That's been pretty cool. And you know, I started, you know, right before Q school. I swear on things, you know, me with routine. I started drinking my athlete stuff starting right before Q school, like 2 months before Q school. And I've been drinking this stuff ever since when I play. And I'll tell you what, it just focuses me in. Same thing. It's just another one of those great little things that you do that just, boom, keeps your inflammation down. So a few things that I just do that are,
Yeah, it's amazing that some routine works really well, Rob, with, you know, with diet, you know, with time you wake up, you know, when you get to the range, like that whole routine. And then sometimes if you're not logging it or taking a journal, you don't know what worked because, you know, so you got to keep track of all these things. It's really important.
Right.
You know, whether you shave that beard or you keep it on, you got to see what works for you best. You know,
I like mixing it up. You got to, you know, variety's the spice of life. You know, you got to wear it a little bit, shave it off, and maybe do a goatee and a mustache and shave it off.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the greatest moments for me was seeing you play and you know, carrying your kids out on the golf course, you know, and being with them during the press conferences. And so that's kind of it hits us in a raw nerve, you know, me being a dad, you know, and just imagining how that feels to share that moment and making it last, because that video moment will last forever at some point in time somewhere. Right. So when they grow up, they'll be able to look at their dad and say, hey, that was me. Right. So those were sort of like the big highlights, you know, because you don't see that often. You see a little bit on the regular PGA Tour, but you don't see it on the Champions Tour.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, just for me, I want my family to experience it as well. And when my little daughters, when they come over and, oh, you guys still there? When they come over and you hear dad, and you see her, you know, kind of reaching for you. I mean, I can't not go over there and grab her and give her a kiss, right? It's a beautiful thing. And you know, it's in between shots. It's not like you got to focus on that shot. If you're focusing in that, you know, moment, wow. You know, I mean, you know, take it easy.
Yeah. No, totally. It probably brings you down a little bit. So relax you, give you some more joy, and then hit it again.
100%. 100%, you know?
Well, we're going to wrap things up. Listen, Rob, we're so thrilled to have you on. We're
Yes,
thankful
thank you
and grateful that you've come on. This is your third appearance. You know, we're kind of tracking and following you. We're getting people to engage with us and ask questions about you. So it's pretty neat to develop this relationship with you. So thanks for coming on and taking the time, because obviously time is really important to everyone. Is there anything you'd like to mention just before you get off? Maybe a quick thanks. I know you work also with iCapital, so that relationship there. Mike, maybe you want to round things up by mentioning a few things as well.
Well, as usual, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. This will be on those platforms tomorrow. And please like it, share it, retweet it, whatever. We appreciate all of it. And Rob, any last shout outs? You forgotten anyone?
Yeah. A big couple shout outs to my coaches who've been hooking me up. Tom Wilson. Yeah. Carl Alexander a lot in my golf swing. My physical trainer, Curtis Jackson, Bill Davis spent a weekend with me, and even Shaheen Nakavani has helped me in recent days. So, and David Frost gave me a cool bunker lesson out there. So shout out to him as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But we're certainly just when we get everything together, we'll send you a little package. So we got something for you as well at the end of the season to top things off. So for Michael Bleackley and Rob Labritz, I'm Rafael Kalamat. You've been listening and watching the Golf Podcast Live. We'll see you next week.